So I'm going to play this with my pink. And the next step is to hover your index finger right above the 5th fret of the C string. So the first note of the riff is an open C string. In the tab notations you can see a 0 here. And that means that you play a string, but you don't press a fret. So it's an open string. You still keep your pink on the 8th fret, because the note after that is going to be that 8th fret. So C, E. You might notice that I'm not hitting the strings with my playing hand like this, but like this. When I play fingerstyle ukulele, you will see this in every video where I play fingerstyle ukulele. I hold my hand like this. I actually assign each finger to a string to ensure that I have control over the strings. Sometimes I play at a very high speed, and if I would have to hit every single string with my thumb, it would become super chaotic and I would actually run out of time. This is also the case with the intro riff, because if I play like this, for example, it would be so much easier to play it like that instead of... because my thumb could get trapped between the strings and you really don't want that. So C, I play with my index finger. E, I play with my middle finger. And the next step is to play an open G string. You can see a 0 over there as well. So in total you have... again. And the G string you play with your thumb. It might take a while to get used to this playing technique. I can assure you that this is a very efficient way to play the riff smoothly. Okay, so remember that index finger that was hovering above the 5th fret and all? Now you're gonna press it. And then you're gonna play the C string again. So in total you have... and you're not going to hear any stoppy sounds of, you know, your fingers being removed from strings and adding them on, because you're actually playing other strings that still resonate as you put down this index finger. Because the G string is still resonating when I put down this index. After you've pressed that index finger, you're going to remove the pink from the 8th fret that it was pressing. You actually do that at the same time. So after you've taken that off, you're going to hover your pink towards the 8th fret of the A string. So you're moving one string down, so from here to here. So then you're gonna press that 8th fret with your ring finger, remember. Then you're gonna play the G string, and then you're gonna put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string. And then you're gonna play the G string. Make sure to keep your index finger on the C string while doing this. Why? Because then you have more resonance and it just sounds fuller that way. So in order to repeat this part, because you actually play this twice, now you're gonna move your pink back to the 8th fret of the E string, and you're gonna take off your index finger from the 5th fret, because you need that open C again. Take off index, reposition, take off ring finger, and then pink on the 8th fret of the E string. Feel free to do this super slowly and in steps. I would actually recommend you to do this super slowly and in steps, because you are constantly sending signals to your brain to do stuff here and to do stuff here. And that synergy of the two can be a lot to take in, especially at the first time. So be patient with yourself and it will definitely work out in the end. So in total, it would sound like this. If you've played it correctly, you're gonna end with your index finger on the 5th fret of the C and your ring finger on the 7th fret of the A. You're gonna keep these fingers here, like this, slide them back. You're not gonna play a note while sliding them back, so you're not gonna hear a sound. The repositioning happens by not taking it off and putting them back. No, you're gonna have this position and just slide it back. Your ring finger should be on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then your index finger should be on the 2nd fret of the C string. I'm gonna show you what we're about to play right now. Alright, so again, from here, you go to here. So your index finger should be on the 2nd fret of the C, and then your ring finger should be on the 3rd fret of the A. Next thing you do is you're gonna play the C, the A, the G. So these are the strings you played. So C, A, G. While this G string is still resonating, you're going to move your index finger to the 5th fret. It's not a slide, so you're actually doing this, but you don't hear any sliding. So practice this first. And make sure your pink is hovering above the 8th fret of the A string. So try to keep your hand more like that. because now you have to press the 8th fret of the A string again. And do the same thing as with the previous arpeggio. So 8th fret A string, G, 7th fret A string, G. So, as you can see, you've ended with the same position as I just mentioned. So index finger 5th fret C and ring finger on the 7th fret of the A. So you can loop it in the same way. The next part is very similar to the very beginning of the riff, but this case you don't hover your index finger on the 5th fret, but you already have it on there. I'm gonna show you a little preview. So the whole time your index finger is on the 5th fret for this part. So you're gonna play C, E, G, C, and when you play the C, you're gonna take off your pink and put it on the 8th fret of the A string. And then you're gonna play G, ring finger on the 7th fret. And you're gonna repeat that part by taking off your ring finger and repositioning your pink on the 8th fret of the E string. This whole time I would recommend you to actually keep your index finger on the 5th fret the whole time. Because then you ensure you're definitely having one sound that is resonating, and you really don't need to take it off. You need it straight away again. So the last part is not very similar to the parts that we've just done. Here's a little preview. So the first thing you do to play this last part is you're going to put your middle finger on the 5th fret. So again, first dot, on the 5th fret of the A string. And you're going to hit only that A string. And then you're going to hit the C string. And this time I'm using my thumb. There is an exception to there's not like a very set in stone rule to have one string to a finger every single time. In this case, it's more of a strategic benefit to use your thumb here, because you can do that very easily with your index finger, and this would be more difficult. And also when you do a pluck, for example, if I would do a pluck with the C and the A, we're going to do a pluck with the C and the A string actually in a minute, but then it's also allowed to use your thumb. So I'm going to use my thumb here. So 5th fret A string, C string, 3rd fret A string, C string. So then you're going to go back to the 5th fret, 7th fret ring finger, C string. And now we're gonna do something different. Make sure that by the time your ring finger hits that 7th fret, your hand is not like this, because you have to do this right after. So make sure that, you're gonna reposition your fingers a bit so that it's somewhat parallel to the frets. Because after that you're gonna do this pluck, index finger on the 5th fret of the C, and then your pink on the 8th fret of the A. So notice how the bass note is changing. So the first part was more like, more at C, and then for the second part it's, so it's the whole time this one. You're gonna put your pink on the 8th fret of the A, index finger 5th fret of the C. You're gonna then pluck these strings. So this is the C-A pluck I was just talking about a minute ago. So you pluck C string, and you're gonna shift your pink to the 7th fret of the A string. So you're not gonna shift it, but you're gonna put your pink to the 7th fret. It will become clear why in about 20 seconds. So, because now something interesting happens. We're gonna play lower notes on the A string. So it's actually impossible to have your index finger still on this 5th fret of the C string. While playing lower notes, I would have to do some sort of acrobatic stunt that I'm not qualified for. So I'm gonna pluck C string, pink on the 7th, C string. This pink then shifts to the 5th fret of the A string. At the same time, my pink is going to go to the 5th fret of the C string. And then I'm going to pluck both strings. So to summarize, this is what's going to happen. After that, you're going to hit the C string. And then you're going to put your index finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then removing your pink. Because obviously, if I put it here and I still have my pink on the 5th, I'm not going to hear this one. So switch, C string, remove pink, play A string while your index finger's on the 3rd, and then you finish off with your ring finger on the 5th fret, C string. So switch. So this is it. This is the intro riff of Sweet Child of Mine. I really hope that you found this a fun tutorial. Comment below which songs you would like me to break down, which songs you would like me to teach. Good luck with this riff and hope to see you soon in the next video.